you give a big hand for errors, flaws, for mistakes. Without them we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for inexactitude, for imprecision, bravo. For fudging it, if it 3 cheers. DNA of twisted double helix fame is an expert at that self-replication game. But once in a million times it goes wrong, and thanks to that we're singing the song.
For one heart to be crying, too many teardrops. For one heart to carry on.
Hello, and welcome to Prospects of Kidkind. I'm Eliza, and this is Celia, and she's going to introduce our guests for today. And today we'll be discussing art. Okay, today we have Nuriel. Nuriel is a 7th grader at Fairweather Street School in Cambridge. He loves dumplings and ice cream, and when he's not recording piano albums, you'll find him playing soccer, solving near impossible math equations, reading, writing stories, solving his many Rubik's Cubes, drawing, dancing, or playing with his friends at chess. And he has always enjoyed playing the piano since he was 5. We also have Hedi here. Hedi is the director of Mayor's Mural Crew since 1991. The Mural Crew, what they do is it's a public art program for high school students of the city of Boston. They've completed around 250 temporary and permanent art projects over the past 2 decades. The initiative employs around 20 painters who are between the ages of 15 and 17 years old. Thank you guys for both being here.
Thank you.
All right, so you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so our first question today is, what makes you love a piece of art and what constitutes good art? Sometimes, I see modern art and it sells for millions and millions of dollars, and I wonder, could I have done that? Maybe, but probably not. So really, what constitutes good art, or what makes you like a piece of art? Nuriel, would you like to start?
Sure. So for me, my opinion is that it depends for everybody. Everybody has a different perspective, different art. I mean, it's different for everybody. So everybody has their own opinions, and I think deep inside them, the art that they like, it has to do with their experiences and things in their life that have happened, and who they are, basically. So if a piece of art relates to you, they're probably going to connect to it more, and they're probably going to love it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, cool. Well, what do you think?
I think, Nuriel, you're very wise. I agree that it is your own opinion, and if you like it, it's probably relative to your experience. Something about a painting draws you to it, and I think it's very hard to define what that is, because not everybody has the same taste or experience in life.
Yeah.
And even things like modern art, even if it's just a blob, sometimes I feel like my mind just wanders and I'm identifying with blobs of paint, and I'm like, oh, this was the good part and the bad part, and I can really...
Definitely.
Yeah, so I agree with both of you, where you really have to, depends on like what your experiences are. Cool. So.
All right, cool. Where do you guys think that ideas come from?
Creative ideas, any kinds of ideas.
I think creative ideas also come from experience and interest. For example, when I'm going to do a mural project, it's not always what I want to do, what my personal interests are. And I always give an example when I'm talking to the young people who work for us. We're not always going to be doing stuff that we love. And once I had to do a mural that was about the life cycle of the cranberry.
Wow,
So,
yum.
but and it was in southeastern Massachusetts, the world's capital of the cranberry. And so I had to do a lot of research on the cranberry, and then through doing the research, I became really interested in the cranberry. And so doing the research and having knowledge made it very easy then for me to do the project, because all of a sudden it wasn't just the bottle of cranberry juice. It was who was picking the cranberries, how are they harvested, cranberries grow on vines, etc., etc. All of this information. So I think that the more information that you have makes your art better. But it also comes from gut too, instinct. So those two combined.
What do you think?
Yeah, I do agree with that it's something inside you, has to do with your experiences, and I feel like if you think about it, and like just like your story, the more you spend time with the idea, the more it grows and it expands and it evolves into something much better.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, Nuriel, you really like math and music, and Heidi, you really like art. And I love all these things, but I think they're kind of different. So I'm wondering, and they're all creative, and they all require parts of your brain. So what is the difference between creating art and creating music and creating mathematics or solving math? Would you want to start?
Sure. Well, in my opinion, math, well, especially for my level, because I'm a 7th grader, I go to school, and all the things we knew that we learn in class, the answers are already there. We know, the teacher gives us the problem, we have to solve it, and there's a predetermined answer. Most of the time, there's a predetermined answer, and so there's nothing we can do about that. But in art and music, when you create music or you create art, I think that there's much more space for creativity and being able to express yourself and invent new things and new ideas, which you can't find in math as often. But yeah.
Wait till you get to college. Yes.
Well, I think that as an artist, I think that, and you are a musician and a mathematician, I think that you have to practice your craft.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't always come easy the first time you try to solve a problem or play an instrument. You really have to work at it. And there's a lot of satisfaction in that practice because you see progress. So a lot of young people who work in the Mural crew don't have very much practice. And then we're going to paint a giant wall. So that's a real challenge to, oh my God, how are we going to pull this off? But we're practicing while we're working the whole time. And I find that there's never enough time to practice. You always want a little bit more. So I wish for all of us that we had just a little bit more time to work at our craft. Art is about craft and not just, banging something out quickly and I'm done, but really working hard at it.
Yeah, because it's a lot less clear when there's not like a clear answer. You're not solving for
right, but an artist will often say, I'll never be done.
Right.
I'll never finish this. Or a musician, maybe, this time it sounds all right, but I still, there's something about it that, so I think an artist really is never really done.
Interesting. Where's a mathematician, hopefully, at some point be done.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Okay. Is the goal of murals to make art more accessible? With that point, what is the point of murals and what makes a mural powerful?
Well, I think murals are accessible because they're on the street. Most of our work is outside and in every neighborhood in Boston. So you can turn a corner and you find a giant piece of artwork that somehow relates to the location, or something that's a bridge to maybe a history of the community or the people who actually live there now, or a story, a legend. And so these are things that you might not know. And then you take a bus, and you're on the bus somewhere in Boston, and you go by a mural, and why is that there? And usually there's a reason why a mural is there. I always say that a mural should tell a story, and the story might be implicit or it might be very obvious, but I think a mural is more interesting if there seems to be a story behind it. So yes, they are accessible to everyone. What was the next part of the question? Is what makes a mural powerful? I don't know. Because power might not be the final objective.
Right.
It doesn't. We're not always making a political statement. Sometimes it just looks nice. So if it looks nice, that's nice.
Yeah.
And it is. I guess there's some power in looking nice too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. What about you? What do you think?
So, I mean, I agree. I think that murals are very important, and one way they benefit the community, they help strengthen bonds. Like, I don't know much about murals, but when you make a mural with the people who live in your neighborhood, you gain connections, you strengthen bonds with friendships, and then when people walk by, maybe on their way to work or to school, they see it, and then they're reminded of that. I think they are powerful. I think they're also important for a community.
Yeah. What I really love about murals is not everyone has access to maybe art museums and museums in general, which are great sources of art and information, but tend to be very expensive. But murals, it's like a free art museum, and I've always loved that, and especially ones where there's dates or any kind of information. I love that because when I'm walking somewhere and I see something and I can learn something on my walk, I just think that's awesome. I wish they were like everywhere, and everywhere I'd walk I'd just be reading something and learning something, and it's free, and everyone gets it. Doesn't matter who you are, you see it, and you can think about it, you can stand there. So I really love murals, and I think it's very difficult to paint murals. When I was in AmeriCorps, I was asked to paint a mural with some friends, and I thought I was really good, and it's really hard. You draw it, and I had to do like a flower, and it just looked horrible. It looked like a bee on like an avalanche. It just looked horrible. And this one time I had to do Abraham Lincoln. That was really bad. He was on a roller coaster.
It's asking a lot of you.
Yeah, but I really appreciate murals. And I guess that the final question we kind of have is, everyone has like a different purpose in the world, and there are things that have more applicable, say, kind of meanings, or if science does this or whatever, but why do we need art? Let's say we can't necessarily quantify its value or its purpose, but everyone agrees that they kind of enjoy it perhaps, but why do we need art in the world? What do you think?
Well, I think art is very important because it's a good way, one, for people to express themselves.
Yeah.
There's many ways one can express themselves with using art, and it's also a good way to get a message through, maybe to your neighborhood, like murals, or to something greater, to your state, to your country. So that's why I think, art is a very important part of the world of all cultures, and I think so.
And maybe it's free, like anyone can make it.
Yeah, anyone. With almost anything you can find.
Right. I think the urge to make art or play music or dance or do theater is instinctual. I think that everybody has some art form that they do, whether or not they do it formally. And I think that children especially are very free in that expression. And as people grow up, then they become less free and worried about what other people are going to think of their art form. But I think it's instinct, really, to make things. And then I think culture is the collective instinct that we share. So that, and then there's the appreciation of our culture. So these are things that are extremely vital for human society. We need art and we need culture, and we need to share those things because that's how we are relate to each other. Storytelling is part of our culture. And so I think that the more that we do it, the better off we are.
Great. Yeah, actually, on that point, we were talking earlier before the show, Heidi and I, about how there's not a lot of art in schooling, how there seems to be less art while, we get older, especially as, even on your own time, creating art when you're a child is, very different. Do you have any ideas on how we can add more art to school or to life?
Well, I think we need to make time in children's lives and to play and to make art. I think that in the 25 years that I've been working as an artist, I find there's less, children are less free to play and express themselves, but they're also inhibited from making art. And schools don't often have an art room, which I think is vital. So if I ran the planet, I would make sure that every school had an art room full of supplies where all kids could experiment and try out and find what they love to do. And I think that it's a terrible shame that there is so little access now, that museums cost so much, and that many kids are cut off from what we enjoy, It's really painful to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I was also thinking with murals, and I've lived in a lot of apartments, and what really kills me just about the world in general is that walls are always one color, and when you live somewhere, you're not allowed to just paint crazy things on the walls, and that's just how our society is. But why is that? Why is that how it is?
In the first place, your apartment is probably Navajo white.
It's all white. My apartment is all white.
Beige, but beige is okay too, because if you had a mural that was this crazy thing, you'd probably get tired of it, and then it would
distracted by it.
Right, or I don't want it anymore, and so. And also, if you've ever tried to paint your apartment, just change the color, you realize that that's an awful lot of work. So painting a mural is a lot of work, which is why you might not have it in your apartment, and the labor goes to the public space where everyone can see it.
Right, that makes sense. Well, would you want to live in a mural covered apartment?
Not completely covered. I think it would be too much.
Yeah. But it would be cool. So I wish I could paint all the walls, but I see your point. And when I did paint the basement in my house without my parents' permission, it didn't look that good. I never finished it, and it doesn't look that good, and it's still there. Now that I think about it.
Never finishing it is the kiss of death.
Yeah, I really should get back to that. But should we open up to questions?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so our phone number is right there on the screen. If you guys have any questions about music or art or math, we have a young musician, mathematician, and an artist who paints a lot of murals. So feel free to call in with a question. And in the meantime, what is your favorite mural that you ever painted or made?
That I've painted or that I've...
Shoot, wait, we're getting a phone call. Uh-oh, here we
Hang
go.
up?
I don't know. Oh, no. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hi. Okay. I was wondering if you think that there's any chance, hello?
Yes.
Of art, that there'll be no new art.
Huh.
What was the question?
If there's gonna be any new art?
Like, is there any chance of it running out? And if not, like, why is it infinite?
Oh, why is art infinite and why don't we run out of ideas?
Okay.
Wow.
Is there
Oh.
Sorry. We got a bad connection there,
So,
but
what? Yeah, well, that's a crazy question.
thank you for your question.
Is art infinite, is the question? Are we going to run out of ideas?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
What do you think? Muriel?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's just like the brain can go to so many different places. Like, I mean, we humans are really creative. I think it's amazing what we can do and the things that we have done.
Absolutely.
Almost infinite. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how it'll change too.
All right, got
Oh,
another
call.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Is someone there?
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering if you could have one artist or musician, living or dead, over for dinner. Who would you pick?
Ooh.
Oh, good question.
Ooh.
Question to all of us.
Yeah, Nuriel, what do you think?
That's a hard question.
That is a really hard question.
Yeah.
Do we have to make the dinner?
Yes.
Okay.
Celia, what do you think?
I think I'd pick Van Gogh.
No.
Van Gogh.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting dinner.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a musician. I think it would be David Bowie.
David Bowie. Nice.
I am a fan. I like his music a lot.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to have him over. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I would have Diego Rivera for dinner.
Ooh.
Famous Mexican muralist.
Okay.
I think I would pick Da Vinci. He was an artist of sorts.
And a very interesting mathematician.
Yeah,
too.
inventor and all different things.
Cool.
I think that would be really special. I don't know what I would make. What would you make for David Bowie? What
Me.
dish?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips? Yeah. What about for Van Gogh?
Well, my first gut reaction was hot dogs for whatever reason, but no, probably like a nice spaghetti.
What about for
Diego Rivera. I'd invite him for breakfast.
Ooh.
I'd make him huevos rancheros.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Let's see. Or for Da Vinci, I think I would make like something that flies. I don't know. Or ice cream or something. I don't know. Something weird. In like a wooden bowl
Good.
that would like walk by itself. So
It
you
takes
can
really
wind.
a lot of work.
Yeah, it might not be worth it. Something like that.
Great
I don't
question,
know.
caller.
Yes, wonderful question. Okay, let's think. So, what do you think? What else? should
Oh,
we
I did have
discuss?
another
Yeah.
question. Are you a part of the street, the poetry street project? I've heard
Yes, rain poetry.
Yes.
Oh, what
that's
is, what is-
amazing.
I don't know what that is.
We are the executors of Rain Poetry.
Okay.
Rain Poetry is a project that the City of Boston Office of Arts and Culture is doing with mass poetry. and the poet laureate of the city of Boston. And so poems have been chosen and stencils are made using fancy fonts, laser cut stencils, and then we use a magic liquid that repels water. So we spray the stencil with the magic liquid, and then it becomes invisible until it rains. And then when it rains, the sidewalk is wet, but the poem is dry. So
amazing.
it's revealed. And we've done about
That's so cool. Wow.
15.
What? I haven't seen any in Boston.
Yes, they're all over, but we had a summer without any rain at all. Remember, we had a drought. So we've done some more lately, and you have to look down.
Wow.
I do normally, so.
Celia always looks down.
So they're oftentimes at crosswalks near libraries, and they're in almost every neighborhood in Boston right now.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a very, very fun and interesting project to do.
That's awesome.
More poetry. We need more poetry.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it. So I also work at the Girl Your Poetry bookshop. And so I met Danielle and she mentioned the project as well.
Wow, that's really cool.
I'm excited about it.
Oh, so we're out of time, sadly.
Oh gosh.
But this was really, really cool and a lot to think about. Thank you for coming. And we don't have a show next week because it's Halloween. I have to go trick-or-treating. What do you guys gonna be for Halloween?
I don't know yet, honestly.
Do you have a costume yet?
I think I'm going to answer the door.
Nice.
I'm going to be a gumball machine.
I got a lot of ideas. I'm gonna be someone from Rick and Morty, that cartoon show. I'm also gonna be someone from Scooby-Doo,
Nice.
Velma.
Cool. Well, thank you for watching, and so we'll see you in 2 weeks with another cool discussion with I don't remember who. So, thank you.
Bye.